Hello plant friends, today is the day. I am going to be propagating my variegated Monstera. I've been thinking about it all winter long and it is finally spring, so it is time to chop this baby and essentially start again. So this plant is actually on 2 grow poles. So it's on this black grow pole here, which I don't really particularly like the design of these poles because the grid pattern on the front are really small. So I am going to have to essentially cut it to pieces to try and get this Monstera root system out of there without damaging the root system. And as you can see on the top, it is in a clear grow thickly pole, which does have bigger openings. But again, I think I might switch the pole out again and put a different style on top. And essentially what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking this top pole off and starting a new plant for myself. And then the bottom half of the plant I'm going to be cutting up into single nodes, and I'm going to be growing those out as plants for my shop. So yeah, this plant is probably about 2.5 to 3 years old, and I grew it from a single leaf cutting and now it is out of frame. So all I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be taking the cutting where I'm going to be taking the top piece off. I'm just going to cut the stem and I'm just going to leave it. So why I'm doing that is I'm going to cut the stem, leave it all attached so it can still be receiving water and nutrients from when I water the pole, but the cut end is going to be callousing over, and that so when I actually go to remove the plant and pot it up, the fresh cut underneath is all calloused over and all sealed up, therefore lowering the chances of rotting. I'm going to cut where I want the top cutting to be, and then I'm also going to cut up all these nodes as well so they can all be callousing over and all be healing up before I remove them from the pole. So I'm scared. Let's do the thing. So what I want to do is I want to make the cutting here, and then from here up is going to be my new plant, and from here down is going to be all the plants that I make for my shop. So I've sterilized my cutters because I want to minimize the risk of infection or disease or rot as much as I can, because this is my pride and joy. And I'm so nervous. I'm never nervous for cutting plants. I absolutely love propagating plants, cutting them up, growing multiple plants, but this has a very sentimental value and I'm very proud of how I managed to grow it. So yeah, this is pretty big. So I'm just going to cut. Oh gosh. Okay, let's make sure I cut through that. Yep. Okay. I did it. I cut it. Okay. Whew. Now I've got to cut all the other nodes.
What are you cutting, Mummy?
I'm cutting up my plant, babe. I did it. Okay, so I've made a cut there, 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 and down there. So she is all cut and ready to dry up. You can see it's already started to change colour as I've cut it, and it's all going to dry out. So I will come back to you when it is time to remove it from the pole and plant up all these cuttings and start my new plant. Okay, so as you guys saw, that was a bit of a rough trying to get the plant out of the pole. So I'm going to soak the cuttings in a mixture of water, Clonex clone solution, and root zone from Growth Technology. And what this is going to do is it's going to help provide the plant with some much needed nutrients, and it's also going to help reduce the shock from the rough handling it had. So this bucket is 13 litres. So this is 1 ml per litre. So we put $10 ml of that in, and I think this is the same, yeah. So you also put $10 ml of that as well. So you can mix the two together, and then I'm just going to fill up this bucket with water and put this in. Got them all sitting in this bucket of water, and I'm going to leave them for a few hours, if not all weekend. So I'm actually going to Auckland tomorrow for the plant market, so I don't know whether I'll leave them in here for 2 days or I will do something with them later on today, but we will see how they go. So I'm just going to let them soak, and in the meantime I'm going to pot up the top cutting and repot the base of the plant as well. Okay, so I planted up the top half, and this is how it's looking. I do actually have this smaller one here, which I got from my friend Tony last year. So if this one isn't that successful, then at least I do have a backup. But I think they look really beautiful together, and I'm really excited to watch this one grow. I've just put it in a small pot because obviously all its roots are in the pole, and I have extended it with a grow vertical pole, which I am sort of testing out to see how they go. But yeah, I will keep you updated on how this one roots into the soil and sort of re-establishes itself. As for these cuttings, I will probably leave them soaking in the water. Yeah, I don't know, maybe I might leave them all weekend. I don't know, I'll see how I go, but I probably won't be potting them up today. It'll either be tomorrow morning or Monday when we get back. Okay guys, it has been just over 5 weeks since I potted up the Monstera cuttings in their pots to start growing, and I thought I would give you an update on how everything is doing. So we'll start off with the base of the plant. So this is the base of the plant. I left 2 nodes on the bottom, and as you can see here, it is starting to grow back, and it has already got its first new leaf. So I'm very excited to see what it's going to look like when it opens. It looks like it's going to have some beautiful variegation on it, so that is really cool. And if you can see on the stem, you can see the stem has a nice marbled variegation. So yeah, I think this plant is going to look really, really pretty. The roots have sort of all settled back into the pot and started growing again. So yeah, I'm really excited to have another little plant from the base. So this is currently living in my grow tent, and it's just doing its thing. So yeah, that's really exciting. So that's the first update. So the next update is my tray of all the cuttings. So each and every one of them has new roots coming in. If you can see there's a couple of roots you can see. And also it has a new shoot coming, which is really, really exciting. It's got a gorgeous, gorgeous leaf. I will go through and show you everyone. So that is one. This is another one, another gorgeous leaf. This one, its growth point has just started activating, if you can see down here. And I can't see any visible roots on the side of the pot yet, so this one is probably still working on its root system. But yeah, I'm very excited to see at least the node is activated and it is actively starting to do something. This is another one. And again, its growth point has activated and it started to actively start growing. I can see a few roots. They're probably going to be a bit harder to see if it'll focus on the pot. So there is one root there and another one over here. So yeah, this one is starting to root up nicely. Again, super exciting. I have this cutting here, which is gorgeous. I love the variegation on these leaves. They all have really, really nice variegation. This one actually has quite a lot of root growth, which is really exciting. And if you can see, I moved that cocoa chip. You can see the growth point there has started to start growing, which is really cool. This is another cutting, another beautiful variegated leaf. Nice little roots coming in on the bottom here. And this growth point is only just starting to activate. So you can see it down by the petiole there. Again, super exciting. So I got 3 more. So this is another one. Nice beautiful marbled leaf. Again, this one has some nice root growth. Some nice roots there. There, sort of spread out throughout the pot, which is really cool. This growth point again is just starting to activate. You can see it down here. These two are actually leafless, so these ones didn't have any leaves on. They have some nice root growth again, which you can sort of see in the pot there, and they are a bit further along in their growing than the ones with leaves on, which I don't know why that is, but I just assume because they don't have a leaf, they're putting all their energy into actually growing a new leaf. You can see the roots through here, and this one is probably the most furthest along. So this one should have a new leaf fairly soon, which is super exciting. So yeah, every single cutting that I have taken is activating its growth point. It's starting to develop its root system, so that is super successful. I'm really, really happy about that. They're all planted in my Hoya and Aroid mix, which I actually sell on my website, so I will link it down below. I specifically created it for Aroids, and I have all my variegated Monstera, all my Aroids inside planted in it, so I was pretty certain that these cuttings would do fine in it, and they have been. And I've only actually had to water these once in the 5 weeks. And I watered them in with Growth Technology, Clonex Clone Solution, and Root Zone, which are specifically designed to help develop root systems and to help support new growth on cuttings. So I think that is another reason why these are all doing super well. But the most exciting part is the actual top cut, which I cut and I've kept to carry on a new plant for myself, and I will show you that now. This is her, looking absolutely incredible. So this is the top of the plant that I cut off and I kept for myself to continue the plant to grow. I added a new grow pole on top of the existing one, and yeah, it is growing really, really well. I don't know how well I'll be able to show you because it's hitting the roof. You can see it's got lots of nice new roots in the pot. So these roots weren't here when I cut it, so these are all new roots. All these roots in the pole were obviously already there because this plant was growing on the pole. And most excitingly, if you can see here, it is giving me its first new leaf since being its own separate plant. So that's really, really exciting. It has some stunning variegation on it, so I cannot wait to see this one unfurl. But yeah, I am so, so pleased that this is growing so well. And again, I've been feeding this one with Growth Technology Foliage Focus, because this isn't really like a cutting, it is more of an established plant because it has the established root system already in the pole. So I'm just giving it its normal fertilizer, which is the Growth Technology Foliage Focus and Root Zone, because obviously I want it to really focus on developing a nice root system in the pot, even though it's already got a nice root system in the pole. But yeah, I am so, so pleased. It is looking absolutely gorgeous, and this plant is going to be stunning, and I can't wait to watch it grow. The only thing I did notice since cutting it is that it has started to brown only a fraction. Like, that is the only little piece of brown on it, and that is probably to be expected. I probably knocked it because the white on variegated plants is actually really delicate, so if you knock it and bump it quite regularly, that can actually cause it to go brown. Growth Technology actually do a product called silica, which is it strengthens the plant's tissues, especially for variegated plants, and it can actually help strengthen the variegated part, so it stops them browning so quickly. So I think that has attributed to keeping this plant looking so nice as well. But yeah, I think that is it for this video. I think this has been a really great success. I haven't lost a single cutting. They are all growing, they're all developing. So yeah, I'm very, very pleased with that. Obviously all the cuttings are going to be growing out for my shop. This one I'm going to keep for myself to keep growing, and I'll probably keep the base of the plant as well and start another plant for future cuttings for my shop. So yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. If you found it useful and informative, please consider subscribing to my channel because I have a lot more planty videos that I want to make. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!